welcome to episode 4 of From Script to Screen, an episodic documentary tracking the production of our latest film, The Outer Darkness.
93, take 1.
Camera's running up. Mark.
Today we're on the second phase of the shoot and are shooting at 3 different locations, starting with action within the basement, ending with the village hall scene, which is the most dramatic part of the whole film really. So there's lots to do, it's a really packed schedule, but I think we'll get through it.
Last night we shot the church sequence, which was a long shoot that went into the wee hours of the morning.
One of the technical challenges with shooting at a church is of course power, so we had to use a generator which we brought in, which was an old generator but fortunately ticked over the entire evening.
Challenges in a church is sort of juggling with power really. You're trying to light such a big area with sort of small lights, so we're sort of using various lighting from tungsten to HMI, just depending on what sort of location we're in. We usually haze up a room just so that the light carries a bit better and sort of give you a bit more of a fighting chance with the lights that you have.
It was actually really good to be back at Stranded because it's the 3rd film we've shot there, having also filmed Dare and Dead Man's Lake there in the previous year.
Action.
The scene that I was looking forward to doing is the scene we shot last night in the church. Basically he unravels and walks in and is met by...
It was a really satisfying shoot. Johnny Phillips and Ross Mullen absolutely smashed it with their performances.
This could, in a way, just be a sort of allegory for self-help groups of any description for people that have encountered problems and difficulties, or whatever they are. And I thought it was an interesting way into a supernatural story.
Johnny Phillips has done a very nuanced human take on Father Crow, which is really good. So it's always nice to see someone bring a character to life.
The ferry is just loaded. I reckon we should wait until the ferry's cleared.
We're in a crazy black room with a madman in a mask.
Right, quick as you can!
We're just about to go for a take of the lead actress leaving a house and walking down this alleyway. It's a kind of frantic scene.
On set, I'm doing shot logging and continuity, so I'm making a note of different setups, the take numbers, the scene numbers, continuity problems. So we use that for DIT.
So we've just come in from the alleyway and I'm just logging the footage now. So I'm checking for things like sharpness, and I need to check there's no dropped frames and that it's looking flat and log enough for the grade.
I'm freaking myself out.
The location here is the cellars of like an old building from when this place used to be like a really bustling port. It's very cool. It's underground and lots of cobwebs.
It's pretty spooky. I don't know how they find these locations.
Kingsland Arts Centre kindly allowed us to use some tunnels that were under their property. One of the challenges there was we needed to install a doorway for which our characters are pushed through.
I'm helping with some subterranean carpentry provided by Richard Cole, who made the magic door.
If this is solid and doesn't move now, you're happy with how it sits, it's fine.
It was definitely a case of if you couldn't find the perfect location, then you can build it. If you know the right people, you have the right friends, and you can ask them.
By adding that bespoke element really made it perfect for what we were shooting.
We chose this particular space because it added something visually that the other ones didn't quite have. With Wheel of Fate, we work in quite an isolated, confined space where our actors can't see much further than the blackness around them. So here we wanted to kind of juxtapose that with a larger space.
So the way I plan to do lighting usually is that I set a general tone of light that I can sort of just have almost like an ambient light, and then I'll have lights on the floor that I sort of tweak and go in to do highlights and textures.
Adam, 4,300 on the colour temperature.
We watched programmes like True Detective while we were thinking of it, and things like Game of Thrones, which are all quite contrasty. And we also like sort of Fincher's style, so it's all quite moody.
They've really created an atmosphere for the film, and I think that's going to work extremely well. But we've also had a lot of other actors involved this weekend and extras. It's felt sort of on a bigger scale, which has been really exciting.
We're now in the last segment of shooting, concentrating on one of the most important elements in the film, the Wheel of Fate. We see it as a character in its own right, and ultimately it becomes the centrepiece which decides the outcome of the story.
We set up this additional day's shooting so that we could concentrate on getting more detailed shots of the wheel.
similar to the great shots we managed to achieve on Don't Move. To get the shots we needed, we used the Kessler Cine Slider, the Kessler crane with rev head and Oracle controller, and we filmed the whole thing on the Blackmagic pocket camera.
Spending this extra time with the table means we can build up more tension in the final film, and use the wheel in the way it was always intended.
That is indeed a wrap on The Outer Darkness. Thank you very much.
The Outer Darkness has been a long time in the making. We probably started writing it around 6 months ago, and I think it was a case of seeing this script down on paper and thinking, how are we actually going to do this within a tight budget, within the usual means of making the films that we have. And so to actually come out the other side now, it's a huge sense of achievement for everybody involved. I don't think we have any complaints over anything that's happened over the shooting period, so now we're really excited about going to the post-production stage.
So here at the end of the shoot, we can only reflect on how generous all of the cast and crew have been, enabling us to bring our vision from script to screen.